Welcome to the Cover Two Show. I am your host, DC, and today we have a special guest. There's no Jason. Today, my special guest is Ty Arlesic. How's it going, Ty?
Did you?
Not too bad. So today we're going to do a nice little Q&A with Ty. Ty is currently, well, actually, I'll let him tell you his current position.
I'm the assistant director of scouting at West Virginia University football
A
team.
D1 scout. He is a D1 scout from the Ville, from the Valley. But all right, Ty. So we're going to go through a list of questions. I have 19 questions. Just give me your answer and we'll see how this goes. All right. So before you went to Steubenville, you were originally a Streetsboro Rocket. What led to your decision to transfer from Streetsboro to Steubenville?
I was wanting to play for Steubenville, um, and then the culture up there. But I was the head coach, and this town wasn't trying to grow as fast as my family w would have liked it to. And there were some just not good vibes throughout the whole thing. He was there for 14 years and was an all-time winningest coach there. And there was always there's no always pushback on how he wanted to do things. So we were on our way to one of his former players was a 4-year starter at Princeton. So we went to go visit him for a game against Penn, and it was the week of the Steubenville Perry game that was played at Massillon. And so we watched that game on the way there, and I was like, I think I want to go play for Steubenville. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I think so. That's when we decided to move get the process of transferring. Um, he he resigned in the spring. They had a team meeting like for with the new coach and stuff, and they were like, "Hey, you come?" I'm like, "No, I'm sitting there in a big red hoodie." They're like, "Why don't you go?" I'm like, "Well, it, I think it's pretty obvious." So I did. I went actually moved down there for a month for the last month of school. Lived with my aunt and uncle, slept on the couch, and then went to school there for a month. Uh, And I didn't know this at the time. They were like, "Hey, you need to come back for finals." I'm like, "Why? I haven't been there for a month." But so then I was fully there in June. I was fully in Steubenville in June.
And that was going into your sophomore
Or
year, right?
going into my junior year.
Going into your junior year. Okay. Listen, we're best friends and I still don't remember when you come.
And when was birthday again?
Yeah, never know a birthday. But yeah, so that process, I assume it was a little bit easier with the connections that you had in Steubenville. Made it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Especially because we actually scrimmaged going into our sophomore year for a 7-on-7.
Hmm.
And the guys in Streetsboro were like, "Oh, this is cool. We're gonna play." One kid's tried to start get into a little bit of a fight during the 7-on-7. I'm like, stop. No, just get
Hmm.
back up there. You're not gonna win this.
You don't want to mess with that guy.
No, yeah. Get
He's a
over
little
it.
crazy. Love him. He's a little crazy though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So once you got into Steubenville, what would you say is the football culture compared to Streetsboro?
It's all about football and nothing else. Like they're Steubenville, everyone's going in the same direction as a program. So now everyone looks forward to the band and all other sports and football together as the culture of the town. Uh, So everyone's going the same direction. Streetsboro, it was like, oh well, what about the band? Then they have the crowd leave after halftime because the band played, and then so it's like it was just whole different vibes. I was on the sideline growing up. Uh, throughout every playoff run. Even my after my sophomore year, I was on the sideline for the state championship when one of the water boys was pants were started going to flames. Had to
I
help out with
remember
that.
that.
Yes. So I had to help out with that. But I actually traveled on the buses with you guys to the games. So that's so I've always been intertwined with the with the team.
Oh, definitely. Now, talking about your family,
Yes.
they're Steubenville based. When you were
Yes.
making the transition into Steubenville, how much did you lean on them?
Oh, a lot. Growing up, I was here almost every summer, so I've always been around and working out with the team with you guys growing up at some point. But getting used to hey, hang out, go see, go talk to these guys. They'll be good. Just go hang out with them. Compared to just trying to find my way randomly throughout the team, it made it a lot easier.
Yeah, stay away from that Cunningham kid. He's terrible. He doesn't know who we're playing, but he'll be there.
It'll get in the way.
Yeah, he'll be in the way. Oh, but yeah. So as you said, you grew up in the Steubenville football culture, so it wasn't too hard for you. Um,
Actually,
but
one of the coaches back at Stroudsboro, that like when I decided to transfer throughout the baseball season, my grandpa come up and was like, "Hey, do you think he can do it?" He's like, "He's a Steubenville kid playing at Stroudsboro. Like, there's no comparison to how I like, go about things and how people there did. So
mhm.
it made the transition easier."
Oh yeah, Steubenville the work ethic that you have to put into it to get results, and that's what Steubenville basically hammered into us.
Yeah.
So at a young age, you got that hammered into you, even leaving up in Streetsboro.
Hmm.
But yeah, so what would you say that playing for Big Red did for you as a scout? What are some things that you take away or a mentality standpoint?
What to look for and how people play every snap. So if you like watching a lineman, you can say, okay, this guy's strong, he can block well and all that, but if he doesn't come off the ball every snap, then you're going to get inconsistent production out of that kid because yeah, he's good, but he's going to take plays off. You're not going to. And how West Virginia is, we play with a hard edge. We play hard every snap. Well, if they're not doing that in high school, or they're going to do it in college.
Mhm. Now let's go back to our senior year.
Yeah.
2019 feels forever ago. Jesus. What would you say are some key moments or key games that you can still think of today and it's clear in your mind?
And Hills losing in the last minute a deep pass, first home opener loss in about 15 years,
Yeah.
and going into the Hun, we had an extra day of practice, so we had another day of pads. I come through pulling on counter, plant, hear a pop, so that was fun. Uh, I still don't believe I tore it on at that moment. I still think it was because they did we had to get my knee checked so many times that it eventually did popped on one of the tests. But on the play, I just go off to the side of the field there. Everyone's like, "Where's Ty at?" I'm just waving on the sideline like, "Hey,
Like I'm not good.
no." Um, then not getting surgery, I came back for uh, but one of our like the ninth game of the year, playing on one leg until we could be in the playoffs. Actually had more catches with playing less games with one leg than I did all my junior year with being fully healthy and about 20 pounds lighter.
Hey, I have more catches than you your junior year.
Yes, you did.
I was a special team specialist.
Yeah. Hey, I got an onside kick against Perry. Um,
Hey,
but nah, so but that and then Hubbard was just everything that could go wrong went wrong kind of game.
yeah,
And so that was just because we were favored and we were expecting to win. And because the only team that we really thought had a chance, we were looking forward to was Girard because they had the quarterback that was one of the top in the state. Ended up going to Youngstown State with me, so I
hmm
kind of passed his classes. But um, yeah, that was a rough one, just because
yeah.
everything they
That
just
Hubbard
got
game sucked.
everything that they clearly our all-state linebacker breaks his ribs on the first quarter. So we've had to put in a sophomore who hasn't played Mike before making the calls. And then we just couldn't get anything going on offense, passing,
No,
passing or running. So
no.
no, yeah,
It was a heartbreaker. Yeah, it was definitely a heartbreaker, but the group of guys that was nice to have around us.
right.
Yeah, definitely going through the system. It made it a lot easier creating that brotherhood. But all right, let's go away from Big Red now. You graduated. You go to Youngstown State University.
Mhm.
How did you get that job?
So. my grandpa had a good relationship with Bo Pelini. It was his last year, and he told me I wanted to get into football. He's like, hey, yeah, I will take any student help for free. So I worked with the offensive line, um, and the O-line coach was everywhere. He was at Ohio State for 10 years before with Tressel, world renowned guy. Um, and then during games I'd script the plays, help set up practice, all of that. Break down the film, help with recruiting. Some days the doors were locked, so I had to hop the fence onto the field to get the tunnel because that door was unlocked. So that's how I got started. And then my sophomore and so I graduated in 3 years. So my sophomore and junior year, I helped film so I could get paid and help film there, and then also help with recruiting more specifically with that than with the new staff that came in.
There you go. Did you like recruiting better than you did being on the field?
I knew my personality would be better recruiting because I'm not a loud person. So one on one, I'd be good coaching, but yelling at guys on like in groups and all that's not how I would fit well. But actually got to work with Brian Nardo, a Ohio Valley guy who was a defensive coordinator at Emporia State. That went to Youngstown State. Actually picked him up from the airport for his interview. But he went on to be a defensive coordinator again at Gannon and then at Oklahoma State. And last year he was at Charlotte, and now he's DB's coach at Minnesota.
Ooh,
So I got a good connection with him. And then, so yeah, just making connections and working my way through Youngstown, helped me get set up with Coach Rodriguez at Jacksonville State after I graduated.
that was my next question. Look at that. So you made your transfer to Jacksonville State down in Alabama, the Gamecocks.
Yes.
How was that environment compared to Steubenville, the Valley?
Very small town. We had about three stoplights, and one of them was always out. Um, but my cu- we got I got down there with Mike D'Angelo. He helped get me connected with Coach Rodriguez. He knew I because Youngstown State doesn't do graduate assistant roles for recruiting, so he got me connected with them to be a graduate assistant down there, so I could get my school paid for, housing, meals, and all that. Um, so I was actually helping them throughout the spring while I was still at Youngstown. So I was helping them with the transfer portal when they first got hired in December. So they didn't have any recruiting set up yet. So I'd be sending them lists and all that, and they had a vote during a staff meeting. Hey, is that doing a good job? Should we hire him? Everyone just raised their hand, like sure. And then in the middle of so I needed to pass one class to graduate, and they called in the middle of one of the tests, and I knew I was going to fail it anyway. So I just answered the call. And my dad's calling me, my cousins call me, D'Angelo's call me, and the chief of staff's calling me, like, hey, why aren't you answering the phone? I'm in the middle of a test. Who cares? You're getting hired. All right, okay. End
Oh,
up
sweet.
end up passing the class because of a final like, group assignment with like a 71 or something like that. But he's get degrees at this point.
He's get at that point, yes, he's to get
That point.
degrees. You have a job. You have a job in what you want to do, and that's
Correct.
football.
Yes. And then so when I get down to Jacksonville State, I'm doing transfer portal, high school recruiting, all that kind of stuff. And so they actually cut their top two returning running backs before I got there. And so we're coming back and we bring in one guy. And so it's like everyone coaches trying to turn over the whole program. But they're all historically pretty good FCS program before he got there. They just had a down year, and they wanted a big name for their transition to FBS. So that's
Yeah,
how Coach Rodriguez got down there as well. Because he was
yeah.
at Boy, that's
Yeah,
a
you definitely understand wanting to make that big splash going into your big year.
correct. And
Yeah. So you left Jacksonville State. You follow the head coach
yes,
and you end up a Mountaineer.
yes, from 11 hours to an hour and a half drive.
Yes. I'm sure that was a huge factor in wanting to come back home. I'm sure that played a nice factor being able to, hey, on the weekend, I want to go see my family. And you can.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. So now working with West Virginia, what does your typical week look like during the season?
During the season, we have staff meetings every day at 9 o'clock. Those usually last about half hour to hour, depending on the result of the game. Um, then recruiting wise, it's mostly we get the player results, like their game results on Sunday. Um, get their stats all together, give to the coaches for on our staff meeting on Monday, so we can keep up to date. Then we have a huddle recruit, so we're able to watch full games off huddle, and we cut up every guy that's either committed or on our recruiting boards games for that week. For like, anything that they either get the ball or if they're O line D line they get ran at. So we can do it. So highlights they show all the good stuff, but the cut ups show some of the bad as well. So we can make a determination. Okay, here's as bad. Is there still enough good to make us want to take him? Pretty much. Um, we ended up signing 49 high school and JUCO guys. Three of them we didn't start recruiting until the week of signing day because of former players reaching out to Coach Rodriguez. But it was the whole process. Most teams are do get their official visits done in the summer. We did maybe 20 or 25. We did most of our official visits during the season. So throughout the week, we have to get uh flight information done, hotels. We write every coach writes a letter to the player. We have to get all that stuff organized before home games to get them uh make sure we can get them committed during the season because there's only one real signing day now, and that's the week of conference championship week. So once the season's done, there's no visits.
Mhm.
So that's where it becomes a time crunch.
Okay. That's fair. Uh, Now, what would you say where would you like to take your career to? What is your next steps?
I'd want to become either director of scouting or player personnel at West Virginia or another Power Four school. I'd even go to Youngstown State just because I always liked the Youngstown area because I was actually born in Warren. My dad coached all the top well, coached at Warren Harding when they were number one team in the country with like Mario Manningham, Chris Claret, some other NFL players. And so, but I'd want to be director of scouting or player personnel, even GM, even though that's more just talking to agents and doing contracts with for NIL. But that's where I'd want to get to.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's take it back to the kids.
Mhm.
So, when you turn on a film of a high school player, what's some things that you immediately look for?
Height, size, and speed. Because if you're an offensive lineman and you're 6 foot, the odds of you becoming a P4 player not very high. 6'1", you can get away with because if they're strong and can move, like you can play guard or center. But even then, you're gonna have to show something on film that is elite, like quick feet, get off, strength, and something. Wide receiver, depending on where you're at, if you're 5'7", but you run a 4.7, maybe 5'7", you run a 4.7, odds are you're not going to be a P4 player. So those are the two things I look at for immediately, and then we just need to see are you willing to be physical? Because even at wide receiver, you're going to need a block on the outside. At corner, you're going to have to tackle it in space. So if you can't be physical, you're not going to be able to be effective at this level. And then
Oh,
everything,
definitely.
then position, and then everything else is position specific. Can you, like for skill guys, can you make guys miss in space? Can you outrun guys? Um, Quarterbacks, for our offense, are you able to run? The This class, there's not a ton of guys that can throw and run. So we're going searching under rocks and everything. We're trying to do everything we can to find quarterbacks that can run to fit our offense.
Mhm. Now, like you were saying, you watch a lot of highlights and you also watch a lot of, you call them cuts,
Cut ups.
cut ups. Okay. So a lot of people like me, like when you're recruiting, we think of highlight tapes. What do most athletes misunderstand about the recruiting process?
Just because you put up a lot of stats doesn't mean that you are a T4 football player or Division 1 football player, even FCS. Because yes, you're putting up stats, but is it because of the competition you're playing, or is it because of your offensive scheme? Like if you run the ball 70% of the time, you're gonna get over 1,000 yards, 1,500 yards. But if you're in a spread offense and you're getting 7 or 8 yards of carry, you're gonna stand out more than rushing for 1,500 yards, but averaging 4 yards of carry. So it's like that's where more mixes. Oh, I'm putting up numbers, but that doesn't mean that translates to the next level. Same thing with 7-on-7 teams. Yes, it's good for like skill guys to get working at in the game-ish situations, but it's not real football. So you're working on your routes and that kind of stuff, but you're not working on it. There's no one blitzing the quarterback, so the quarterbacks are able to just run around and throw it instead of having to read a defense fully and with a guy running at you.
Yeah. Yeah. 6'8" guy just running straight down the barrel at you. How does that feel?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I'd be
Final question.
I'd be scout team a couple of times during the winter workouts, and I got thrown around by our 6'5", 305 pound true freshman that was top five in the country. So that was fun.
You look like a little bowling ball out there. But
They,
all right.
they were really concerned at one point.
Big Red trained you for that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I got put through a fence.
Yeah. I was just avoiding that conversation.
Yeah,
You
no.
want
Yeah.
that's a story for another day. But so final question I do have for the players that are listening, even though there's probably none, but maybe hey, we make a short out of this, nice and easy. For people listening right now, what are three things that they need to focus on if they want to play football at the next level? That can
Go to
either be physically or mentally.
go to camps in the summer because if you don't go to camps, and you're under recruited, there's no way to get more exposure if you're just sitting at home. So even if it's D2 camps, mega camps, go somewhere where you can perform in front of coaches. Physically, just be in the weight room, be in condition because the more you're able to be on the field, the more you're going to be able to produce. And then mentally, just if you're new to a system or you're trying to be a leader of the team, you need to know the playbook so you can teach everybody else so they know what they're doing. So the more you know and the more you're conditioned and on the field, the more you'll be able to be recognized by coaches based off of your film.
Got to have some good work ethic.
100%.
All right. That's it. That's all the questions I got for you, Ty. You got any stories, anything you want to talk about?
Not really. Not off the top of my head.
Not off the top of your head, that's perfectly fine.
After this,
That's perfectly fine.
but uh,
But all right. Thank you, Ty. I appreciate you coming on. Everyone else, thank you for viewing. We'll have a video up sometime. I know we're working on a Big Red versus Central rivalry video that we're going to get to shortly. That's something that's going to be interesting, at least for the people in the Valley that are going to like to hear what we have to say. But until next time, peace.